Hello people and welcome back to another video. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all had a good time. But yeah, I'm out here with another video today, and as it's the end of the year, I've got three quite big videos and it's all to do about sales. Today's video is going to be my best sales of 2023. As you know, and you've been following me for a while, this is my first year in reselling. So it's going to be quite an interesting video to see how my progression in like big sales throughout the year has evolved. I haven't done it from the lowest to the biggest. I've done it from January to December. It quite nicely fits into the biggest sales anyway, because December is my biggest sales in the actual year. So it's quite fitting that it ends the video with my biggest sales anyway. So this video is going to be about me and my biggest sales of the year, selling on eBay, VINTED, privately. And the other two videos that I'm releasing this week is one, how much profit I've made over on VINTED. I haven't seen one of these videos, and I thought I'd do a video about how much money I've made on VINTED over the year, because I've done really well on VINTED. And then the final video of the year will be how much have I actually made in money in my first year as a reseller. You know, so everything from VINTED to eBay to private sales, how much have I actually made in sales, and then obviously I'll convert it into a profit. But today's video is obviously about the biggest sales of this year, and I'm going to go through them from January. So I've got the piece of paper here. I had to write them down because going back in time to January, I couldn't actually think what I sold. But yeah, it's very, very small compared to what I finished with. So hopefully I've got most of the pictures of these items still on my eBay account or VINTED account, so I can actually show you what I'm talking about. But in January, my first ever item, which was my biggest profit in that month. It was my first, obviously, month in reselling, and I didn't know much about things, you know. I knew what I wanted to find, but I just didn't know where to find them. So car boots was closed, and I was just going around charity shops willy-nilly, you know, just going around, potting around. And I thought, well, the easiest things to sell were like bric-a-brac, you know, pottery items, jars, you know, porcelain, stuff like that, because I will be able to sell them quickly. And there's so much in charity shops, they'll be easy to find. And my actual biggest item I sold in January was a ceramic bread bin. It cost me £2.50. And I sold it for £25. Actually made a £28.91 profit. Yeah, I actually made more profit than it sold for, because I wasn't on global shipping market. So I think this might have sold abroad. I did sell one abroad, I can't remember if it's this one or another one. But I didn't know how much stuff weighed, you know, how to post and package stuff. And I wanted to make sure that I made a profit on it. I didn't want to lose money, because obviously you do lose money on post and packaging. So I needed to put quite high prices, just because I knew I had to use a lot of like bubble wrap and that. So I used to charge like 10 quid for like post and packaging back in them days. That's why the profit was so high. But £28.91, that's probably less than my average sale now on my sales. It just shows how I've upscaled my picking nowadays. But yeah, that was my first ever big sale in January. In February, I still was obviously learning, but I was really interested in toys. I've always been interested in toys, vintage toys, picking up stuff that I knew. I'm from the 80s, so I knew that toys from the 80s were very valuable if you could get them. And I picked up this Sylvester and Tweety bubble machine. It was in a charity shop. No one knew what it was. I don't know if it worked, because it had a battery thing. And I left it for a week. I didn't want to pick it up because I think they wanted like £7 or £8 for it. And I thought, if it's there next week, I'll pick it up. And it was there for £3. I picked it up and I tested it out, and it was actually a bubble machine where he dips his thing in a little bowl where you put like your liquid in there, lifts it up, and air comes out his mouth. Absolutely brilliant. I actually sold this to a person in Italy, and yeah, they absolutely loved it. They paid £40 for it. And again, because I didn't know about post and packaging, GSP was not in my system because eBay was still new. You know that you don't get it. So I had to do my own pricing. Obviously, I overpriced, especially when it went to abroad. So eventually I made £43 and £89 profit. In March, car boots started opening up around my area. It was the first time me going around car boots, you know, doing reselling. And it was like crazy just to go around. I didn't know what to look for. I was still looking at, you know, the pottery stuff, you know, but other stuff. But I was starting to obviously learn about other things that could be more valuable. And when you're in charity shops, you don't see the things what you see in car boots. And I got there. It was a dull day, but it was probably half an hour into going around the car boot, and it started absolutely chucking it down. So everybody was packing away. And one of these sellers, he must have been a person who does house clearances, was just saying, anybody can have it for free. You know, I just want to get rid of it because obviously they can't store it. He must have made his money already. And I saw this box and I didn't know what it was, but I saw brother on the top of it. And I thought, I think that's a printer. Let's try it. I checked out, make sure the leads are there. The leads was there. And I thought, is this everything for free, mate? And he goes, yep, everything's free. Just need to get rid of it because it's just going to get chucked away. And I went, I'll have it then. And I took it away. It's really heavy. And I didn't know how good it was until I got it back. It was a proper like office one. You obviously seen the picture on the screen. And it's worth about 110, 20 quid for second hand, you know, and probably about 60 quid for spares. So I was like, oh my God, I just got something for free and I'm going to make a load of money. I did eventually sell it. It pretty much went very quickly. And that's why I said printers are one of the things. If you're thinking about what to get next year, go and look for printers because printers make you money. Minimum printers fetch are 10 quid spares and repairs, but most printers, if they're working, fetch around 20 to 25, you know, like the cheapy bog standards ones. But if you pick up a good one, you're looking hundreds of pounds, you know. So I sold this for £90 and I made a £74, £95 profit because it was free. So now we're into April and it came down to looking at other things. Car boots are been open now for a month and I got the inspiration off selling Dan because he was one of the first YouTubers that I watched when I started doing reselling. Don't know what's happened to him now. He just doesn't seem to do it. He's just like, he's gone quiet. Hope he's okay. But he used to always pick like wheelchairs up and walkers up. And I saw a wheelchair and I thought, let's go for it. You know, I'm into my bulky items. I don't mind shipping a big bulky item. Obviously, this is the biggest thing that is you can ship basically. And I saw it. It was an Enigma wheelchair. I saw them going for around anything between 80 to 120 pounds. Picked it up for a tenner and sold it for £90 privately. So it's absolutely brilliant. Didn't have to postage and package it. Somebody in my area wanted it for their obviously nan or parents or something like that. Yeah, and I didn't have to pay fees, didn't have to pay anything. So absolute brilliant profit of 80 quid. In May, my profit of this item went up a huge amount. I mean, it's something that you would pass by if you saw them just because of the sheer volume of them and the sheer size and weight, and that is books. Books, most of them are worthless. Most of them are worthless. But if you've got a rare set or a collection of books or sealed books, they can be worth a small fortune. I went on Facebook Market. I started using Facebook Market now, and I saw this big selection of Britannica encyclopedias. There was the 15th edition, early 1990s, and I did my research and I saw other like variations going from anything from 200 to 400 pounds, and I thought, I've got to get these. They're £20. So The place was basically around the corner from my house, and they had them in the loft for ages. Somebody else wanted them, but he just said he couldn't be bothered to drive down and get them. So I bought them off him for 20 quid. I did have them for a while. It must have been a couple of months, maybe. I did sell them to somebody in America, I think it was, but I had just only got signed up with GSP then, and they said they can't take them because it's literally just too heavy. So I had to cancel that order. So I thought, oh, we're going to have these for a long time. Literally probably the week after, I sold them to somebody in England, and I sold them for £200, making £163 profit and 74p. Next one was probably the most interesting item out of all the things that I bought. Something close to me, my heart, which was a toy, and it's in a local charity shop from where my son goes to, and that charity shop is probably one of the best charity shops I've ever been in. For me picking up stuff, I have made some serious money out of this charity shop. Absolutely, vintage items. I saw it, it looked old, and it was the Shogun Warrior. You've seen it. If you've been watching me this year, you know I've done quite a few videos on this. I've been to Dickinson's Real Deal, seeing if I could get on TV with it, but they didn't know what it was. They thought it was a Transformer. I've had it on for £400. I've had it on for bids, and I just couldn't get rid of it. I didn't know why, because it's probably more niche than anything. You have to be a real collector to have this. Reason being, this was a 1970s toy made by Mattel for the Japanese market. The Shogun Warriors were one of the teams trying to fight against Godzilla. So basically the Shogun Warriors, there was a whole load of them. I think there was about 4 or 5, and the men went into the big robot to fight Godzilla. The same company made Godzilla, and if you can find one of them, it's worth about £2 grand. It wasn't boxed, but I did pick this up for 4 quid, sold it on bids for £231 and 88p. I made, after fees and all that, £204 and 84p. So I did really well. I was so gutted when I sold this, because I probably knew I could have got a lot more, but you know, this is my first year. I'm self-employed. I need to make money. I have other stuff what I sell, but if this sold for 200 quid, I'll be happy, because I only paid 4 quid for it in the end of the day. So it got to July, and I was thinking, well, halfway now through my reselling career, sort of, well, just after halfway, what else things do sell quite well? And I was looking at, obviously, people's around the car boots, obsessed with gaming, retro games, and I'm not really into the whole retro gaming, because everybody's going for that, and you don't really make that much profit off it, because even people that are selling their stuff, they know what it is and they know how much it's worth. So I thought of the other way. I went into a lot of like retro VHS players, which no one cares about. You can pick them up for 2-3 quid and they sell for 25. Same with the combos where it's a DVD VHS, you can sell for 50 quid. Had loads of them throughout the year, sold loads, great things to buy, but also retro TVs. The reason I went into retro TVs is because they're big and bulky, and people do not like to ship them. There's a lot of risk involved, you know, like them breaking because of the screen. You do not get compensation back because it's a screen, and also it's heavy. But I actually picked up a Sony retro TV. I had a couple. One was really old, but I sold this one for £70. I paid a £5. Luckily, if somebody who lived in my area is setting up like a retro like gaming thing for his like community center, and he needed a TV so he could play the old retro games and watch retro videos and stuff like that. Really cool. So I sold it for like £70, and I made a £65 profit. So I have sold quite a few TVs. I think I've had 3-4 sales in TVs over this year. So they all sell for around a similar amount. So great thing to look for if you don't mind posting like quite heavy items. In August, it was a time when, obviously, brilliant time for car boots, nice weather, obviously when my kids are off, and it's like, we decided to do a car boot. I decided to, all the stuff that I previously haven't sold, the stuff that from the first few months, which was lagging around, I thought I'd do a car boot in one of my local areas. And while my mom and my son was on our little stall, I decided to go for a walk around, and it was on one of the videos, and I picked up this like leather carrier suitcase. Basically, it's like a bag. It's for suits. They used it more, I would say, back in the day, but it looked and smelt of quality, like that proper leather quality smell. Nice colour. It was just stuffed at the bottom. It was on a like a charity shop sort of store, so they didn't really care what they were selling. They were just basically just raising money for charity. The name was Condotti, and I did some mega research for this. I found out that Condotti was a designer make from Milan, which was basically not far from, you know, all the other designers like Versace's and, you know, all them lot. And there wasn't much about them, and there wasn't much items for sale. So I just thought, right, let's have a look at how much a Louis Vuitton one goes for. And they was going for about $1.5 grand to $2 grand. And I was thinking, wow, could this be as much as that? And I was thinking, nah, it's Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is well known, you know, it's Louis Vuitton. So I thought, you know what, let's just put it at £1,000. You know, with offers, anybody can bid. Somebody bids for 600, I'll sell it. You know, I don't know how much this is worth. Obviously, I had no takers. I had a few offers. I offered them like £700. You could have it for £700. No comeback. So I was thinking, it's probably not worth as much as that. Maybe it might be worth a couple of £100, you know, just because of the name. And also you got to think, is it real or not? I don't know. You know, it looked real. The stitching was amazing on it. It was so good quality. I mean, it's amazing quality. Not my sort of thing. Don't think it's very desirable now, you know. So I thought, right, I paid £5 for it. So what would I be happy with? And I thought, you know what? Let's put it on for £200 and put open offers. Put it on for £200 open offers. Somebody offered me £170 for it, literally in that week when I actually put it on. I took it. I'm thinking, well, I've had it for a couple of months now, I think. Let's get rid of it. £170, and yeah, I sold it. So I made £119 profit after that. In September, my biggest sale went down quite a lot. I had a lot of like very similar sales, but one of my biggest sales, it was only for £60.78p. But if I added all the stuff together, I probably made about £120. I don't know when I bought them, but I picked up 2 snowboards, a pair of snowboard boots, and a carry bag for it all. Very good makes, and I sold them all. Sold the snow boots for about £25. The other snowboard I think I sold for about £100, and I sold this snowboard for £100. And obviously, like I said, it made £60. But I think I paid £40 for the 2 snowboards and the carrier bag, so there's £20 each. Yeah, this one was £15. I made £5 for the boots, I said, and then I made the other one £20. So in total, I probably made about £120 profit out of the whole lot. But yeah, it was okay. It took a long time, but as soon as the winter came, like I said, September came, that means the snow's around, they bought it. In October, my biggest sale was another printer. And like I said, it just shows you printers do make a lot of money. And it was a Dell printer. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a good one. I picked it up for £10 off Facebook Market. Good thing about Facebook Market, you can look at the printers or whatever you're looking for, check them out, and then buy them. The person who I bought it from, they lived in a nice area, you know, very desirable area, I would say, and they just didn't want it anymore, don't use it. So picked it up for £10, sold it for £170. Yeah, So I made £130 and a couple of p, you know, so absolutely amazing profit. And like I said, it's another printer. So if you're not looking and buying printers, you need to do it now. So it's now coming to the end of the year, and this was only last month. I had it for probably about a month, maybe 2 months. And this was at a charity shop. I think it was at a Salvation Army charity shop in Shrewsbury. And it just stood out at me. I saw this silky, like black robe and a bit of gold on it, and I picked it out, and it was a kimono. I looked at the badge and it said Esme. Didn't know absolutely nothing. Clothing, I will do sport stuff. I will pick up coats. I'll pick up stuff that I think looks good or maybe sells. Now I do. Before I picked up loads of clothing. I still got loads of clothing, which is actually worth nothing because, oh, it had a Ralph Lauren badge on, but they don't actually sell for much now. And I saw this and I went, oh, that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Gold threads and black silk, and it was amazing. I thought this has to be worth a lot. Checked out kimono, like vintage. I saw the Esme brand in there, and they was looking around the £100 to £200 mark. I sold it in the end for £100. I paid £8 for it, so I made a £79 profit. So we're into our last month, and it is obviously it's December, and yeah, I got a few items, and every single one of these items is amazing return. I mean, literally amazing return. I haven't even worked out this month's sales yet because it's not the end of the month yet, but it's not been that good, you know, like there's not been that many sales, but the things I've sold have been sold for a lot. You probably know which one of them is because I've done a few videos of them like recently, but I'll leave that one to the end because you probably know what it is. But I've just literally picked up a couple of lawn bowling balls last week. Somebody's dad died and they're just like getting rid of all the stuff. He says, I don't know how much they are. I probably could sell them for a lot more, but we just want to get rid of everything, you know. We don't want everything lagging around and sticking in our garage. And he wanted £15 for these 2 sets of bowling balls. It was on Facebook Market, and I thought, right, I'm going to get them. I'm not going to research them because I can't really see the picture, but bowling balls are they're a hit and miss. Some bowling balls, a set you can sell for about £40-50, but some of them you can sell for like a couple of £100. So I thought £15 for 2 sets of bowling balls, you know, it's a bargain. £7.50 each, and I've sold them both within a week. Bowling balls are one of the most underestimated things in reselling. You could absolutely not afford to miss. They do sell very, very quickly. Don't know why they're worth so much, some of them, but they're worth a lot of money. The cheapest set was Sterling King ones. I never heard that make, but I sold them for £80. A set of 4, made £64 and 69p profit. So I've already got my money back plus made more money. But the other ones were Thomas Taylor Aces, and these sold today while I'm doing this video. They've actually sold like a couple of hours before. I sold these for £170, making £138 profit after fees. So yeah, making over £200 in profit from £15. So if you're not, like I said with printers, look for bowling balls as well on your Facebook Market at the car boots, because bowling balls make mega money, literally mega money. But also what I've sold this month, which I had to put in because they're all quite good profits. I sold a Pierre Cardin camel like trench coat, men's one. I picked that up for £7, sold it on VINTED for £80 and made a £73 profit. And then apparently shoes are not worth getting anymore. Boots are not worth getting anymore. But hiking boots are a big thing. I picked up a pair of Solomon boots, which are very well known for like skiing and all that, but they do make boots. These are Wimmings. I paid £7 in a charity shop for them. Sold them for £100 on VINTED, making £93 profit. And then I picked up some Mendel boots from the charity shop from around the corner from my son's school. Picked them up for a fiver. Yeah, just a fiver. Mendel, have you heard of them? No. Well, you need to know now because I sold these for £120 on VINTED. And VINTED doesn't make you no money. I think it does. This is why I'm doing that video. You know, so at the end of this video, you'll probably see the end screen. Go and click on it. You're going to see how much money I've actually made on VINTED this year. So I made £115 profit. So absolutely amazing profits, big sales this month. But obviously the biggest sale of this year is my Apple Mac. You know, the Apple Mac 1997 black rare edition. You know it, I'm not going to go on about it, but I picked this up for £120 and sold it for £800, making myself £557.42. And I've just checked, he has got it today, got it early this morning. I've had no comeback yet, so I think he's happy with it. So yeah, my biggest sale was the Apple Mac because it's an Apple, it's a rare one, and they're very, very hard to find. But yeah, that was my biggest sales of the year. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, obviously hit a thumbs up, and remember, if you are new, subscribe. But if you want to see the video of me how much I made on VINTED this year in 2023, hit the box up there. If not, there is my yearly total of how much I've actually made in 2023 on all platforms. Hit that box there. But might as well hit them both because they're both good watches. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.